Hello everyone and welcome to this special Periscope presentation on athletics.capital.edu. I'm Charlie Danis. Joining me now, the head coach of the Capital football program, Coach Craig Candeto. It is Capital opening up against Wittenberg as we get set for the 2015 campaign. Coach, 2 weeks ago you had an inter-squad scrimmage. Last week you had a scrimmage against Denison. How's the off-season been going? How did camp go and how did the scrimmages go?
Camp went really well for us this year. I think it was overall our best camp that we've had in the last 3 years, and not only from a football perspective, but I think from a team building aspect as well. I feel like our guys are closer this year than they ever have been, and that's, I think, going to carry over. From a scrimmage perspective, you know, we saw some things. We got a lot of young guys in both our inter-squad and our scrimmage against Denison this past weekend, and a lot of things we need to correct going into this game against Wittenberg, but some bright spots for us for sure.
One of the big competitions taking place throughout camp, throughout the scrimmages, was who was going to be your quarterback. You had a QB competition. Ultimately, you arrived at Nick Iskey, who started a bunch of games for you last year as a freshman. Take me through the process in which you were able to weed out the quarterbacks and ultimately arrive at Nick.
Yeah, so Nick, he didn't do anything to lose the job. I mean, he was a guy that started for us 8 games last year, and you know, he's got a lot of experience from that aspect. Zach's a guy behind him though that's been at his heels the whole way, and you know, I tell people that they're separated by about that much, you know, and you know, Nick had a good camp, Zach had a good camp, and I think we're going to use both of them this year, and they both bring different strengths to the table. So I'm excited about having 2 guys that can run the show.
I was talking with your O-line coach, Matt Keller, before the Denison scrimmage, and he told me it's nice to have an offensive line that doesn't have any freshmen. It's nice to have guys on the line that actually have games under their belt. How excited are you about this O-line this year?
Very. I am. They're bigger than we've had in the past. They've matured. Their bodies have matured. They've got a little bit of salt to them, as we like to say. They've got that experience. So I think that showed up against Denison. We had guys coming to the sidelines kind of being able to process what was going on in the field and communicate that to us as coaches. And, you know, that's a natural progression for us. So I'm really excited about the guys coming back up front. They're a big, big part of what we do.
We're talking with Capital head football coach Craig Candeto here on this special Periscope presentation on athletics.capital.edu, getting ready for the season opener against Wittenberg. Taking a look at this offense now, the skill position players, weapons all around. Brent Walton at fullback, he's going to be good to go after being dinged up a little bit in camp. You got Corey Heater coming back from injury. He'll be at the slot back position. 2 big wide receivers as well, with Zach Wyrick and Jake Skeldon. Is this the best skill position group that you've had here since coming here at Capital?
No question it is. I mean, those guys have experience in the system, and we've got some playmakers. And that, you know, in the past, there's been a lack of that for us. You know, we've gotten the ball on the edge, and guys haven't been able to make plays. So I feel very confident about the guys that you just mentioned being able to get the ball in their hands and make big things happen for us on offense.
Let's now switch things over to the defense. Defensive line looks to be pretty stout. Linebacking core, young but hardworking. We'll get to them in just a second. But going back to the D-line, a lot of notable names returning this year. How strong will this group be?
Very strong. You know, I told Coach Hood in camp, I said, this is the most physical defense we've had since I've been here. Guys are flying around, guys are hitting. And again, it goes back to that maturity thing. We're starting to see some of the fruit of the last couple of years, you know, playing a lot of those young guys, getting them in the weight room in the offseason. Now they're coming back, their bodies are more mature, they understand the game better, and they know what it takes to play some good, hard-nosed football. And I think up front that's going to be a big difference for us on defense.
Back here with head coach Craig Candeto. Coach, let's continue the discussion about defense here. You told me a story about how this linebacking group, which is young, a lot of new names, was able to stay after practice, diagnosing plays, going over some stuff. Could you talk about that story?
Yeah, they're hungry. That group, I actually just saw them out in the lounge area just now, about 30 minutes ago. I think they're hopefully they're doing their schoolwork, or they're going over to football things. And you know, more than likely with that group, what they've been doing in camp and those types of things, they're probably going over to football and trying to get their keys right. So, yeah, I mean, we finished camp, the team aspect of it, and then, you know, 9:30, 10 o'clock, I see these guys in the classroom here in the Capitol Center, and the older guys are teaching the younger guys, and they're watching film and things like that just on their own, obviously not required, and that was really exciting for me to see. We've seen more leadership this year within our team in those types of aspects from a football perspective, but also from a, hey, I'm going to pick up my fellow teammate and show him the way to do it, and that's been really encouraging as a coach, because you know, as a coach you try and build those things in your players, and then when they start to take over those qualities, that's when you really think that you got things going right.
We talked about how the front end of your defense is a strength. The back end of the defense can also be a strength. Bad news, Joe Rodriguez out with injury at the moment. He provided a great safety tandem with Jimmy Curtis. There's also been some reshuffling with players back there in the secondary. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so Jimmy, you mentioned him, he's one of our best defensive players, and last year he was, there's no secret. He's an older guy that understands the game, and we moved him a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage to our star position. Jimmy's got a lot of ability and a lot of leadership. He's one of our captains, and we felt like putting him in that, it's a hybrid linebacker / safety position, was going to give us the best chance on defense, putting him there. So on the back end, we've got several guys that return with experience. You mentioned Joe. Logan Mahar is another guy at safety. And then a young guy, J.R. Garrigo, he's had a really nice camp, and he's going to get some serious playing time. Then on the edge, we're still kind of competing at our corner position. A couple young guys, Jordan Duncan from California has had a great camp. Eric Strosky and also Eric Hall, 2 upperclassmen that are competing as well. So we're still kind of shuffling through, seeing who's going to be the game day starter, but all those guys have the capability to perform for us back there.
What can we expect from special teams?
I think some good things. Keegan is kicking the ball really well, and we've got a couple new wrinkles here and there for him. As far as our place kicking, Jack Johns has really done a nice job. I mean, it's really refreshing to see a guy get the ball up and put it through the uprights, and I have a lot of confidence in our field goal PAT team to get some points on the board this year, which we've lacked in the last 2 years. So that's exciting. I think special teams, and Coach Newsom's done a great job with our special teams this year. I think that's going to be a big positive for us.
We're talking with Capital head football coach Craig Candeto here on athletics.capital.edu. Your opponent to open the 2015 season, Wittenberg. Obviously, teams like Wisconsin Whitewater and Mount Union get most of the pub, and deservedly so, because they've been great teams over the past decades or so. But when you look at consistent winners in Division III, look no further than Wittenberg. They've been a consistent winner since arguably the 1970s. Big challenge for your team right out of the chute, Coach.
Big challenge, yeah. All the things that you said. They're a great football program. Coach Fincham's done a great job there at Wittenberg. He's been there for a long time, and he's built a perennial winner. And they went to the playoffs last year, and I think they've won their league probably, three years in a row, maybe 4. So they're a very good football team and going to be a very formidable opponent for us. And I tell our guys, we're going to have to play well to beat these guys, but it's good. We've got them here at the Cap Center at Bernlohr Stadium, and first game of the season. So our guys are excited to play a team that has got that much tradition, and I think it's going to help us rolling right into that tough OAC slate, because we know week in, week out, 10 games are going to be tough. So this non-conference one game that we're going to be able to play is going to prepare us for that schedule as well.
You might as well get ready for that hard slate while you can. I'll get you out with this, Coach. What do you want to see out of your team when they take on the Tigers?
Well, we talk about 3 things in camp, and we talked about what a Crusader was. Crusader is relentless, tenacious, and resilient. And I think if we can do those 3 things on Saturday, because we know that we're going to have to come after them pretty hard, because they're going to be ready to go. So that's relentless and tenacious. And then we're going to have to be resilient as well, because I tell our guys, there are going to be a lot of blows thrown in a hard-fought football game, and we're probably going to deliver some, we're probably going to take some. So how are we going to come back from when we're getting hit in the mouth sometimes? Like any great fighter, he gets hit every once in a while, but how does he respond to that? And I think that's a big thing for us. And I think we have done a good job of that in camp, in our scrimmages, and then our scrimmage last week. We're going to have some bad things happen on Saturday. Every single football team does. It's how do we respond to that adversity. So what I'm looking for is maximum effort from our guys. Obviously, we want to execute the schemes, but just continue to press on and never giving up. And we're going to play for 4 quarters as hard as we can.
All right, Coach. Good luck against the Tigers.
Thanks, Charlie.
That was head coach Craig Candeto. Join us as Capital gets set to open the 2015 season against the Wittenberg Tigers at Bernlohr Stadium. For Capital Athletics, I'm Charlie Danis. We'll see you next time